Welcome to our first lesson of Adobe After Effects. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the introduction and also about the interface of Adobe After Effects. But first off, you have to keep one thing in mind to use the latest version of Adobe After Effects. Because if you are using an older one such as 2015, 2016, you might see that there are a couple of differences in the interface, okay? But if you are using 2018, or even if you are using, let's say, a Mac OS, even like Linux or Windows, just make sure to use the latest version of it, okay? But even if you don't have the latest version, 2018 can also be worked on, because 2018 and 2023 is not that, different in the interface, okay? So first thing what you have to learn about is these four parts. You can see that I have a couple of these animation over here. You can see that there are also a couple of these objects. And when I move through those, like over them, and I drag my mouse, you can see that there are a couple of things that are being indicated, okay? And those are the objects that has been put in a specific, let's say, an animation. What you see over here is also an animation. And one thing Adobe After Effects has an advantage is that you have the ability to increase or decrease the size of your animation or whatever you're making, and also increase the panel size, okay? And also zoom in, zoom out, that's like totally up to you. Now, one thing is that when you open up Adobe After Effects, you will find out that you will face an interface like this. So this is the home interface, or when you open up. So you will be able to open up new composition, or you can also open up new composition from footage. Well, Adobe After Effects gives you the advantage or increases your functionality so that you can actually, capture, let's say, a photo or a video and then start making animations out of it. So it is correlated to, like, let's say, 2D animation and also 3D animation. So obviously it has a lot of functionality which Adobe After Effects can provide. So just like I told you that I'm going to start up from an animation. Well, later on in this course, I will also show you how you will be able to do it. And I will show you all the basics up to advanced level of animation. Well, it's not that hard, but what you have to do is just follow a couple of basic steps that will help you to, let's say, understand those tools and also about the interface, so that you can go throughout all of the tools and also use the full functionality of Adobe After Effects. Now let's get back to our animations again. So when you open up, let's say, a file, you will find out that there are a lot of objects in your screen. Let's say the top part, left part, middle part, right part, and the bottom part. Well, all of them have specific names. Let's say the left part. The left part up till here is the project section, or the project part. Well, all of your projects will be put up over here. You can see that I have my animation over here. It has 25 FPS, has the resolution, and also about the time, okay? And also the name of it. How you're gonna name it, it's going to appear over here. Well, almost all of the details of your specific animation or the project which you're working on will show up in this project panel. Now let's go to the middle part. The middle part is called the composition part, okay? Or let's say a composition panel. And then in this panel, you'll be able to, let's say, preview or see your work, okay? Even if you're editing it and you want to get a preview, all of the things which you put will be put in this composition panel. Well, this is also like a page where you are editing all of the objects. Now the right part is also a bit like the tools, okay? You'll be able to customize your animation and also increase the creativity of your work by using this panel. You can see that there are info, audio, preview, effect, preset, libraries, characters, and all of those, let's say, paragraphs, tracker, content aware fill. All of the tools will appear over here. Then at the bottom, we have our timeline panel. In this timeline panel, you'll be able to see that there are a lot of objects. Just like I told you, when I drag it over them, you can see that the objects are being, let's say, indicated. So this is the layer panel too. In this layer panel, you might see that there is like objects from the bottom to the top, and also the names are put up over here. So each layers or each objects are named, okay, or specified, and those specified, let's say, objects are put in this panel so that you get a smooth animation, or let's say even a video. Okay, let me just give you an example. And one thing you have to keep in mind, that if you have something at the bottom, that means that thing has the less visibility, okay? Or let's say it's like at the bottom and it's going to overlay, or let's say the top ones are going to overlay it, okay? It's a lot like the ones you use in PowerPoint, let's say Photoshop, and also Lightroom. So if you know about those basic, you already know how this layer panel works, okay? And also this layer panel is constructed with this timeline indicator, or let's say this bar, or let's say this pointer. Well, this pointer accurately gives you the time on a specific, let's say, second or a minute, so that you can get the specific frame of that specific second, okay? Let's say when I take it on 4, it will show me what changes are happening on this 4th second, okay? And this is the current time indicator, okay? And you can see the names over here. When I select on them, you can see it has been like perfectly selected. Then you can also like minimize it, increase the size, and do whatever you want with it, okay? So this is basically how it works. And if you want to use, or let's say put a photo over here, you can do that. If you want to do that, I will show that to you later on, how you'll be able to add in photos in specific frames, okay? And if you want to, like, let's say I'm going to select on this hashtag here, you'll be able to, let's say, select on it, cut it up, and then add in your own text. That is also doable here. Now let's go to the composition panel, and also about this panel, which is the timeline panel. Let's say when you are working on this timeline panel, you might feel like you double clicked on it and you will see that it is only selecting once, like one of the object. But what are you going to do after that? If you want to see the whole thing back again, don't be worried. What you're going to do is click on this retro, and it will show you, or let's say the name of the whole project or the file will be saved over here, but you can select the specific objects from over here. You can see from over here, and this is hashtag learn more, label 17, and also photo slide placeholder, okay? So that is basically it. You don't have to be worried when you select on a specific object and you are seeing that specific object, you know, with a zoom view. But when you just select on it, the project name, it will show you the whole project back again, okay? And if you want to like edit in your text, just like I told you, select on the text. Let's say I'm going to select on this, and I'm going to just click on over here, and you will be able to cut it. See, that is very simple. Let's say I'm going to type in singularity. Okay, I'm just gonna type in sin. Okay, and after you're done, just click on this retro, and you can see that the name has changed. Now, after all of them is done, we are done with this project panel, composition panel, then this also customization panel, and also timeline panel. At the bottom, or let's say at the top, we have our tool panel. You can see from the left to the right of this top panel, we have all of the tools we need. We also have some ribbons, okay, just like the ones we see in Photoshop, Adobe Lightroom, Illustrator, and all of those. You have this file, edit, composition, layers, effect, animation, view, windows, and help. I'm gonna go through them one by one, lesson by lesson, okay, as I'm not going to be able to cover up all of these ribbons in this first lesson, okay, because even if I make it like quite big, well, you might like lose interest in it. So let's just, you know, go up to this tool section or this ribbon section. In this file section, there are a couple of these things which you most of the time see in, you know, specific softwares, or let's say almost all of the softwares, okay, but there are a couple of differences. Let's say create proxy and all of those, project settings, then Adobe dynamic link, increasement, and also all of those. But except for those, all of them are quite the same, such as new, open, save, save as, revert, export, import, okay. Then we have is edit, composition. Well, this is all about the composition panel. Then we have is the layer panel, just like that one on the timeline. Then we have effect, if you want to add an effect, which is similar to the one we see in Photoshop and all of those. Then we have animation, view, windows, and also we have help. But first thing you have to keep in mind when you open up Adobe After Effects, click on Windows, click on Workspace, make sure to select all panels so that you get the view of all of the panels. I'm going to click on the retro, and then we are done. Okay, now after you're done with all of the things, how are you going to play it? First off, what you're going to do is take this thing, this indicator at the beginning, and you can just hit on space. Now you can see that the video, or let's say the animation, has been made. And you can see this is also bouncing. So if you want to zoom in, what you're going to do is just, zoom in with your scroll key, and then you will find out that it will be like this. And if you want to play it, just press on space and it will start on playing. Okay, and if you want to navigate through it, what you're going to do is click on your scroll key, and then you'll be able to, like, let's say, drag or see throughout the whole thing. And if you want to zoom out, just scroll in and out with your key of your mouse. So that is basically it, and how you will be able to work with the interface. And let's say here I'm gonna do is take one thing at the top, or when I take this right over here, now it is placed over here. I'm gonna do is play it up. It will render it for a while, and then you'll be able to play it up. Let's say I'm gonna do is this, and then it will apply. Okay, but if I take it at the beginning, you will see a bit difference. Okay, I'm gonna do is take it up over here, and it's starting from over there. Let's say I'm gonna do is take this sin part, okay, and drag it a bit to the right side. I'm gonna do is find out the sin one. Let's say I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna do zoom in, navigate through it. I'm gonna do select this part. First off, select on the selection tool. Do select this part, which is labeled 17. Now I'm gonna do is drag it a bit on the right side. Now let's see how the difference it makes. I'm gonna do is play, zoom out, and you can see the sin is not appearing yet. But if I take it at the top left, or let's say the foremost left, you will see it will start up from the beginning. Okay, I'm gonna take this indicator at the beginning again. I'm gonna do is start it off, and you can see it is starting from the beginning. So now you know all of the basics, or how you are going to work with the interface. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you all about the tools in Adobe After Effects and all the functionality it has to offer. So let's move on to our next lesson.